Welcome back, friends, to another video. I am Kathy Brown, registered dietitian, yoga teacher, and fourth trimester fitness instructor. Sorry, it's been a while. And today I am going to finally talk to you guys more about nutrition, specifically about postpartum nutrition. Now, postpartum nutrition is something that actually does not have a ton of research, and that's because we know that pregnancy changes the body, right? There's all these different things that you can physically see that a woman's body is changing. And so we've researched that to see what the nutritional implications during pregnancy are. And there's a lot of good research on that. But then once a woman has a baby, we think that her body just goes back to what it used to do. And especially during those first 3 months of postpartum, the hormonal fluctuations are changing a lot, which has an impact on your nutritional status. But also, you've just given birth. And depending on the type of birth you've given, whether it's vaginal or through the belly, you've lost potentially a lot of blood. And even if it's not a lot, there is some blood loss that happens. And during pregnancy, iron levels change a lot. And now that you have given birth and lost some blood, your iron levels might still be low as well. So that's just one thing. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Things to think about with postpartum nutrition are what we're talking about today. And there's several key areas of focus that I recommend, which is what I'll be talking to you about today. Now, based on how long-winded I get, this video might become a multi-part series, but we'll see how it goes, and let's dig in. So first, I want to start with general postpartum nutrition, because there is a slight difference if you're breastfeeding, which is what I'll cover either later in this video or in a part 2. So first of all, when you're thinking about your nutrition after you've given birth, the way that I want you to think about it is as though you've just had a major surgery or something like that. While birth is a very natural process, and I don't believe that it should be considered a disease or an illness, because it's absolutely not. The way in which your body changes is very similar to as though you've had a surgery. The reason I say that is because when you go through some type of a surgery, your protein levels, your protein needs increase, your iron can decrease, so your needs also increase, and you need to make sure you're getting plenty of B vitamins, vitamin C, all those good things, because all of those play a role in tissue regrowth and blood repair. And so when you've had a surgery, all of those things are true. And after you've given birth, either via vaginal delivery or through the belly with a cesarean birth. And so both of those things are needing extra support in the nutrition realm. So the first thing I want to talk about is making sure you're hydrated. I'm going to talk about this a lot when I talk about the needs for breastfeeding, but specifically hydration. The labor process can take a long time, and sometimes women don't stay hydrated during that time. Even if you do stay hydrated, it's still important to rehydrate after giving birth. And that's because, again, it has to do with blood loss, but also, you're hot and you're sweating and you need to replenish all of those things. The second thing I want to talk about is protein. Anytime you are using lots of muscles, you are breaking down those muscle fibers. And when you break down those muscle fibers, they need to be replenished with both carbohydrate and protein. So I want to talk about protein first, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's more important than carbohydrates. So protein first, just because I know most of my channel is dedicated to plant-based eating. And when you're eating plant-based, you need to eat more food in order to, or the volume is higher in order to acquire the same amount of nutrition as, smaller portions of animal-based foods. Again, this does not mean that plant-based foods are inferior. It just means that plant foods have fiber, right? And fiber adds bulk. Animal-based foods have zero fiber, so there's not as much that your body needs to break down in order to get to the nutrients. Fiber, on the other hand, is super important for your digestive health, which I talk about a lot. And that's one of my main areas of interest in helping women specifically is digestive health. But when you have a lot of plant foods, you need to just eat more because they take up more room on your plate. So you feel like you're eating more, but you're actually eating the same amount, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So protein. So you need to make sure you're getting a wide variety of protein sources. That can include beans, other different types of legumes, lentils, soy products, specifically focusing in on tofu and tempeh, because those are the least processed forms of tofu, and also edamame, and all that good stuff. Whole grains, rice, all those things are fantastic and actually complement the beans, peas, and legumes. So protein. Aim for roughly 70 grams a day, which can come from a variety of sources, but you're looking to get 1 to 2, 3 maybe, depending, servings of protein, depending on how many meals you eat throughout the day, at each meal. So if you're having just 3 meals a day, maybe aim for 2-ish servings of protein. If you're eating, 5 meals a day, so that's 3 meals and 2 snacks, maybe aim for just 1 serving of protein with each thing. And a serving is roughly 10 to 20 grams of protein, which is in most foods in general. So the second thing I wanted to talk about is carbohydrate. As I mentioned, when you have gone through the process of labor and have delivered your baby, your body is spent, right? And for any of you who have gone through that process, you understand what I mean by that. So you have now just run a marathon, basically, or your body has, and you need to replenish. If you think about your postpartum body as an endurance athlete, what do athletes do right after they've competed? They need to eat. They need to replenish all of that stuff that they just used up by doing their event. So you need to eat. That's why that first meal after giving birth is so amazing, but that needs to continue throughout your whole postpartum period. And one thing that I learned from becoming a 4th trimester fitness instructor is that once you're postpartum, you're always postpartum. Your body has now changed into this new person of who you are, that has become a mother, and you need to keep this new body healthy. And so especially during that first healing phase, that initial healing phase of the first three months, and carbohydrates are one thing that can help you do that because it converts into energy in your body. So carbohydrates, protein, and water. That's a lot of information right there. So I'm going to pause for a moment, let that sink in, and then we'll dive into a few micronutrients that you're going to need. All right, welcome back. So now it's time to talk about the micronutrients, which is where I'm going to tie in with some breastfeeding, if you are breastfeeding. So whether or not you're breastfeeding, these nutrients are very important postpartum. But the reason I'm including breastfeeding moms is because they're especially important. And this is one of the reasons that a lot of health professionals recommend women to continue taking their prenatal vitamin for at least the first 3 months postpartum. And that's really just to replenish your body. But especially if you're breastfeeding, just like when your baby was in your body, in your uterus, baby will get what baby needs. And so as you, mom, need to replenish your own body. And that's what the prenatal is for. It's to make up for any deficiencies that might be happening in your body. Even if you eat the perfect diet, which, newsflash, I don't think exists. But even if you are eating that, perfect diet, you still might have some deficiencies because, life is not perfect. So, my recommendation to most of my clients is to take a prenatal vitamin or continue taking one for that first 3 months of postpartum. And then if you're breastfeeding, to continue taking it as long as you're breastfeeding. If you feel good doing it and you're consistent with it, it's not really going to hurt, right? So that's kind of my blanket statement there. But let's get into the micronutrients. So first thing first is choline. Choline is is a micronutrient that has been a hot topic for the past couple of years. And the most common food that choline is associated with is eggs, specifically egg yolks. But for all of my plant-based moms out there, don't worry, there's actually a good amount of choline in your beans and legumes and your leafy green vegetables. So lentils, chickpeas, and tofu are kind of the 3 highest sources, followed closely behind by broccoli, other dark leafy greens. So with choline, aiming for, high quality, a variety of foods throughout your day, you will likely meet your choline needs. But especially on a plant-based diet, you might want to consider making sure that is in a supplement, just because if you're a new mom and even if you already have kids, eating a good amount of high quality plant-based foods can sometimes be a challenge because now you have this new baby and it's just hard, right? If you know what I'm talking about, give this video a like, because it's just hard. You end up drinking smoothies and eating peanut butter and jelly for the first several weeks, or maybe that's just me, because you only have one hand to do everything with, right? So anyways, choline, eat a wide variety of foods, check to see if it's in your prenatal vitamin, and consider supplementing. But as always, huge disclaimer here, work with your medical team, your doctor. If you see a dietitian personally, all of that, they will be able to help you. These are just general recommendations based on the research that's out there. The next one, just like during pregnancy, DPA and EHA, which are omega-3s, are very important. Now your baby's brain is starting to grow exponentially, and DHA and EPA are such important nutrients for that. So, again, to my plant-based moms, if you are not supplementing with an omega-3, making sure you're eating an abundance of your nuts and seeds, specifically flax, walnut, and chia seeds, because that conversion of EPA into DHA, because DHA is the one that we need, there is a small conversion of EPA into DHA in the body. And so it's really important that you keep your saturated fat intake low and your omega-3s higher. And that will help that will help in that conversion in your body, although it still remains fairly low. So it is generally recommended to include an omega-3 supplement, just to help with making sure, again, that those needs are met. And there are some plant-based omega-3 supplements out there that are made from microalgae. So next one, which is a common recommendation, whether you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or a general human being, and that's vitamin D, especially if you live in the northern hemisphere or if you're in a job where you can't get outside very often. And so the reason for that is most people in the US, most likely in the world, again, unless you are outside all the time, are low in vitamin D. So again, talk with your healthcare team about how much or getting your vitamin D levels checked, but vitamin D is something that you could potentially include in your postpartum supplementation as well. So with all of that, your general postpartum nutrition actually doesn't change too much from your third trimester of pregnancy. And the reason I say that is because now you are producing breast milk. And whether or not you're breastfeeding, you're going to start producing some breast milk, and you can help that process. So if you choose to breastfeed, you can help that process by making sure that you're eating enough. And by eating enough, I mean maintaining that higher calorie needs that you had during your third trimester, if not a little bit more. The guidelines say that breastfeeding moms typically need roughly 500 extra calories a day compared to their baseline calorie needs from before pregnancy. So if you think about it, if your average workout session gets anywhere from 300 to 500 calories, you're basically working out without actually working out in terms of calorie needs. So breastfeeding moms have that extra snack or two. Enjoy like if you eat 3 big meals a day, or 3 normal size meals, I should say, enjoying a 4th meal, because more than likely you're going to be hungry, and maintaining the hydration status as well. So even if you're not breastfeeding, don't worry about losing the baby weight, getting your body back, all of that kind of stuff. Your body has changed, but it can also return back to kind of what you know, but it will take time. It took 9 months to build this beautiful body to support your beautiful baby. And so give it at least that long to come back to some sort of normalcy. It takes time, and that's okay. And if it never looks the way that it did before you had babies, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Your body grew a human being. How amazing is that? And now it's supporting this human being by holding and hugging, maybe breastfeeding, maybe bottle feeding. It's now carrying this child through the rest of its life, through support and love. And I can guarantee you that your partner, your family, your friends, and your baby do not care how squishy your belly is, or how soft your thighs or your arms are. It's amazing. Your body is amazing, and that it can do all of this stuff. So support it by eating plenty of nutritious, quality foods, moving your body, stretching, and feel good. At the end of the day, nutrition is very, very important, but your self-love and your commitment to your health and your family's health is the most important thing. So that is, in summary, my general tips on postpartum nutrition. I hope that helped. If that stirred up any other questions, definitely let me know in the comments. And as I mentioned in my previous video, I am going to once a month videos so that they can be educational and well thought out. And so I have some things planned coming up. I will be touching on prenatal nutrition this year, talking about gestational diabetes, and some other good things throughout the rest of this year. So give this video a like if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe, and I am excited to continue to share this journey with you guys in both nutrition, yoga, and some amazing supportive exercises through fourth trimester fitness. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Bye.